Feedback Learnex. English forever.
Origin and meaning of the Day of the Dead. Today, on Feedback Learnex, we're going to take a look at where exactly Day of the Dead came from, this tradition, its colors, and everything it includes. Cempasúchil, or marigold flowers, candles, paper chains, earth, sawdust, salt, food, and water, as well as other traditional elements of the altars, are part of the celebration of the Day of the Dead in Mexico. During the Day of the Dead celebration in Mexico on November 2nd, offerings have a prominent role because through them people remember deceased loved ones and share what they liked in life. Before the arrival of the Spaniards, it was already a tradition to place them, since it was believed that the deceased returned to their homes to live with their relatives and enjoy the food they prepared for them. There are infallible elements that guide visitors on their way back. Try to have these elements ready so that your loved ones are guided back to your altar. Food. The ancestors prepared beans, tortillas, sweet tamales, and atole. Currently, the dishes that people enjoyed the most before dying are offered. Cempasúchil, or marigold flowers. Its name comes from the Nahuatl Cempol, 20, and Xochitl, flower. It symbolizes the sun that rises victorious from the underworld, so it helps the deceased in their journey from one life to another. Place petals at the entrance of your house. Copal, or incense. It is used to scare away evil spirits, allowing the soul to enter your home safely. You can also use incense, which was brought by the Spaniards. Water. It calms the thirst for souls and gives them strength to embark on the journey back to the underworld. Candles. They symbolize both faith and hope. Their flame guides souls on their way, and they can be placed in the four corners of your offering. Salt. This cleans the body of the deceased during the tour and purifies it for the next year. Altars. The altar is a fundamental element in the celebration of the Day of the Dead. The bereaved have the belief that the spirit of their dead returns from the world of the dead to live with the family that day, and thus comfort them for the loss. The altar, as a tangible element of such syncretism, is shaped as follows. It is placed in a room on a table or shelf whose levels represent the layers of existence. The most common are the two-level altars, which represent heaven and earth. On the other end, the three-level altars add to this vision the concept of purgatory. In turn, on a seven-level altar, the steps necessary to reach heaven are symbolized, and thus you will be able to rest in peace. This is considered the traditional altar par excellence. Each of the steps is lined in black and white cloth and have a different meaning. Sweet Calaveritas, or skulls. Although the origin of the tradition is unknown, it is believed that writing the name of the person to whom the skull is given is intended to remind you that in this world, the only sure thing is death. Historians believe that the natives made them of amaranth and honey. Sometime later, the sugar ones were incorporated into the offerings when this ingredient arrived from Europe. Dead bread, or pan de muerto. The origin of the bread of the dead dates back to the time of the conquest, when human sacrifices were practiced. The Spaniards found this practice so violent that they suggested that a wheat bread covered with red sugar be prepared, which simulated the hearts of the maidens without losing their lives. Mexico has always been a country characterized by its rich and elaborate cuisine, declared in 2010 Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity by UNESCO. Portrait. Experts believe that the photograph of the deceased was added during the second half of the 19th century, when the invention arrived into the country. Now, in some regions, it is believed that it should be hidden so that it can only be seen with a mirror, because the loved one no longer exists. Confetti. It brings color and life to the altar. La Catrina, created by the artist José Guadalupe Posada at the beginning of the 20th century, is his most traditional figure. The confetti has its origins in pre-Hispanic times, where the cultures of Mesoamerica used amate paper to make offerings to their gods in the temples. During the Aztec era, the Aztecs used mulberry and fig bark to make a rough paper called amatil. Upon the arrival of the Spaniards, amate paper was replaced by Chinese or silk paper. Cut-up color paper. White paper for deceased children, black paper for adults, and in addition to the variety of colors that can be placed, purple as a symbol of mourning. In short, on the night of October 31st, a special altar is prepared for the children, since their souls arrive at dawn on November 1st. The flowers and candles have to be white because this color represents their innocence. You have to avoid spicy food and add sweets, chocolates, and toys. All items must be small for young spirits to enjoy what is offered. The Day of the Dead is for Mexican culture a symbol of tradition and makes Mexico a unique country where only here they laugh at death. We hope that you enjoyed this little bit of Mexican tradition on this Feedback Learnex, and stay tuned next week at 9:15 p.m. where we'll take more look at the paranormal.
Feedback Learnex, English Forever. Estamos en sintonía. Feedback Learnex, English Forever.